Well, good evening, everybody. I know I've been doing a lot of these impromptu live streams, and I see those comments in the chat room. Yeah, over the weekend when I was working on the audio in the studio, and my hair kept falling in my face and everything, and um, it was just getting too much. And I always have that. It was like I had more tolerance when I was a kid. Um, but I was like, you know what? It's time to go. It's time for it to go back to my normal hairstyle, And so that's what I did. I cut it all off and went back to my normal hairstyle. And I don't know, it's a lot easier now, especially like it used to get tangled with my earpieces. It was awful. It used to like you couldn't see it from behind, but it used to lift my hair up, and it kind of drove me nuts. So yeah, so I cut it. But I appreciate everybody jumping in here, and I finally got everything dialed in. Everything is working. I ordered a Behringer UMC 202 HD audio interface because I found out over the weekend there is noise on the inputs on the TriCaster, the XLRs. Now we have clean audio, loud audio to the stream. Even when I bring guests on, it'll be a lot louder. And so I'm excited about that. So I appreciate everybody just kind of working with me and being there, you know. So it's one of those things where I told you guys a while ago when we put the new TriCaster in that it could be a rocky road for a couple weeks until we get everything dialed in, and it is what it is, and that's where we're at right now. So uh, again, appreciate everybody coming out here, and we will. If anybody wants to jump on, we'll let you guys get on. We don't have to talk broadcasting tonight. We can talk games. We can talk whatever you want to talk about. Again, this is just basically like I say when we do the broadcasting show. There's you got to practice. You can't just show up one day, get on the internet, and expect to have a successful live stream. You got to get out there, build community. You got to talk to your audience, and you have to communicate. And that's one thing that I'm trying to do. I'm going to try to do more and more, especially since the uptick in COVID cases and not trying to go out there and get infected. Not that I'm scared of it. I'm just playing it smart. So I figured, well, everybody's at home. So getting on the internet and live streaming, and figured, well, I'll go on and have a chat. But I see Mike Hawk is in the chat room. I see Brad is in there. See who else. I don't know if there's anybody. There's a bunch of people watching. I just don't know if they're chatting or going to communicate. But I have the chat pulled up, so I can always pull up your comments if you so choose to comment. But yeah, again, I've just been working on some things and just moving things up. I know a lot of you guys are probably excited for in the arcade space National Owners Day, or NOD, with At Games. Looks like At Games is going to be giving away a lot of prizes, a lot of free stuff. A lot of big announcements came out, right? So Greg comes on and says, finally, doesn't sound like crap. Yes, you are absolutely right, sir. We have clean Midas preamps on this. We're doing really good. No crackle. Kevin Michael Reed, how you doing, sir? We got everything. It was a labor of pain and a labor of love at the same time. Mike says, I need to buy Ghost of Tsushima for the PS5. Or is it Hiroshima? Is that how you say it? Ghost of Hiroshima? Hiroshima? Or was I right the first time? Almost could back it down a touch. Well, I told you we were going to be pumping audio a lot louder. So if you think I should back down the overall, I can back down the overall. That's not a problem. So let me do that. Oh, get hung up on my own. All right. So Tushima. Tushima. Okay. I backed it down, Greg. I hope that's sounding good now. Backed it back a little bit. Like I said, it's better that you guys can turn it down as opposed to not giving you enough audio. Letting the stream roll and listen to you while I shower and shave and get ready to roll at 8:30. Yes, locked and loaded for the birthday extravaganza. Awesome. So yeah, I like I said, I pulled it back. We went from 10 dB over to 7 dB, but that's the only override. Everything's at 0. Everything's at unity. Nothing sounds like crap. And who knows? Joe Zahadis might show up and might want to jump on the live to air, or if somebody else wants to get on. I think Brad, that sound is no longer there. The opening and closing of the gate all the time, but yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that game. Yeah, we're getting it. We're getting in there, and I think that was the big missing piece of the puzzle, was finding the issue. Hey, Ian Bennett, how are you doing? Appreciate you popping in here and hanging out with us here. Like I said, this is open forum, open questions, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to bring up. I actually might bring up that game and take a look at it here while we're talking. So we can take a look at it. They have it for PS4, PS5. I'm assuming. Oh, it does look good. Oh, of course. Let me go over to this. I'll show you guys. I should have known. I got to put my, hey, Hollywood Polo. I guess I have to be old enough to take a look at this, so let's take a look at this. See how this looks. So far, this is captured from the PS5. So far, I mean, I was going to say, it kind of looks like it came from the PS5. I don't speak Japanese, so I butchered that name completely. But this kind of reminds me of the one game for the Dreamcast. Do you guys remember that one? I'm trying to think of what it was called. It slips my name. It slips my brain right now. It was a Japanese game. It came out. Everybody was waiting for it. Shenmue. Shenmue. That's what it reminds me of. Just looking at it here. It also reminds me of a little bit of Assassin's Creed, a little bit by looking at it. The Valhalla. Let's see here. Mike says, I feel like you would like it if you're looking for a new game to play. No, absolutely. I would definitely pick this up. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad when I said it's when I'm comparing it to that, but Hollywood Polo says, the Tech Buzz, Steven, I just sold my old car for $700. Can't believe it. That's pretty awesome. That's cool. Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like, the newest one, but that's okay. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That it was taken from that. It was just, I wanted to check it out, see what it's about. So you can get that for PS4 or PS5. I might pick that up and check it out. But I'll tell you what I started getting into, and I didn't play it a lot for the PS3, but I just bought the remastered edition for the PS4, The Last of Us. I have been playing that like nonstop. That is my game of choice right now. And then I got The Last of Us 2, which is still in the wrapper over there. So I'm going to complete The Last of Us, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through The Last of Us. And like I said, I got the remastered for PS4, so I played on the PS5. And I actually, like I said, still have it in the cellophane. The Last of Us 2, which I ended up getting, believe it or not, I got it for $17. Amazon had it for sale, so I bought it. I was like, well, I can't beat that. but I refuse to open it until I've beaten the first one. So I've been playing that, and that's like the game. Any of you guys ever play The Last of Us? And what's your thoughts on it? Hollywood Poll says Jeff Rainwater and I played 99 videos on his live stream last night. Check it out; it was really funny. Well, that's good. As long as you guys had fun, that's the main goal, man. You gotta have some fun with this. What about you guys? Are you excited for NOD? I want to say NOD 32, but that's an antivirus. National Owners Day. What do you guys think? Travis says The Last of Us, he says, has been on my radar for a bit. Let me tell you, it is a fun game, and it's not something that's overcomplicated to where you have to learn controls and things like that. I think that's, obviously we're in this pandemic time, and that was something that really jumped out at me because it was like, well, what if this happened? I'm not saying we're going to turn to zombies or anything like in the game, but it's still fun to think about that. You got the quarantine, the virus turns you into a zombie of some sort, and I mean, we all know it's not real. It's fake, but it's still fun. It's a fun pandemic game, and I've owned it for PS3. I think I played it once or twice for PS3, and I only played like 5 minutes into it, and then I stopped playing it because other things came out or I got busy or something. But now and this is the fun part about having a collection, right? You can go back and play some of these games that you should have played years ago when they first came out, but something bigger and shinier came out. We go, wow, how did I miss that game? That game's like a gem, man. That thing's like something that we all should have. I should have taken the time to play it, but we didn't. So therefore, it sits on the shelf collecting dust. Mike says, my video game backlog is kind of frightening to look at. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I've got Watch Dogs that I haven't completed yet. I have Cyberpunk 2077 still I haven't completed. And the main thing I took a break from Cyberpunk was of all the negative feedback that was coming out of it. I just got tired of hearing about it. But they put out a lot of patches. And so I'm going to give that a good shake, coming soon. But for right now, I'm happy, bouncing between like 10 different games that I have. Travis says, I'm excited to get a couple products on NOD, National Owners Day, for those that don't know what that is, from At Games. Hopefully the contest they have is well thought out. I'm getting the At Games Legends Pinball Controller Core, Max, and Taito tables. I'll be honest, I'm more excited about the new Taito tables than anything else. The Core Max is great if you don't have the funds for the pinball, if you don't have the funds for the Legends Ultimate Cabinet. But if you want something like, if you have a Gamer Pro already with the pinball buttons and you want to have a system that can handle the pinball on your TV, then yeah, the Core Max is something for you. I personally probably won't go buy it. I have the Gamer Pro and the Gamer Mini. I don't play pinball on it because I have the At Games Legends Pinball. So for me, that's not really something that I want. The Tetris cabinet is not really something that I want. So Mike says, I am fully vaccinated and I feel like Kane from Alien. That's hilarious. And Hollywood Polo saying hi to everyone here. So I'm curious about some of the different things that are out there and what they're doing. What I'd like to see is if they make it a little bit easier to put the Core Max in something like an arcade 1-up, plug and play with some joysticks and buttons. That, like, if you modded it with a Raspberry Pi and you wanted to get rid of that and you wanted to have a seamless experience, then I would consider getting it. The first Core, not so much. You got to spend almost $100 for sticks and buttons to work with it. Not At Game's fault, but the encoders are what's costly for the Xbox ones. But Meatball Saucy says this is going to be an expensive weekend for me. Hello, everyone. Well, hello to you, Meatball Saucy. Yes, and I think for those that are joining, I think on Saturday night we are going to plan another voyeuristic view of our game night that we do. I know the girls had a lot of fun doing Rock Band. My kids had a lot of fun doing that. And if you guys missed it, I know Meatball Saucy was here. A few other guys were here. Mike was here, and we were taking requests. We were telling you what Rock Band and Guitar Hero games we had, and we were putting it out in the chat room and saying, look, this is what we have. You guys are making the recommendations. These girls can sing. Let me tell you. I mean, I sing a little bit, but these girls can sing. And everything from country to rock. I mean, we were hitting it all, and we had a really good time on Saturday night. We did it for like 3 hours. We had a bunch of people in here for about 3 hours, and just having a good time Saturday night. Nothing really better to do. Yeah, Meatball Saucy saying, that was so much fun. We're gonna do it again. I'm hoping, Meatball Saucy, that I can get a hold of Rock Band 3. I'm gonna go looking for that Saturday morning after the girls leave. My daughter's turning 13 on Thursday, and she's having a sleepover Friday to Saturday. And I've already warned them I have a show Friday, so I said, you guys got to stay upstairs until the show's over because they'll want to play the arcades. And but after, like, Saturday morning, I'm going to see if I can get Rock Band 3 and see what kind of songs are on there. So that'll be a lot of fun. So if you have nothing going on, basically I set up 3 cameras. They're all on the screen at one time. You can see every angle. You can see the people in the room. And then I set up a room mic that you're able to hear. Oh, yeah, Travis, you got some of that? You can, you guys can listen in and you guys can watch the gameplay. So we had it set up pretty good last week. And a lot of the guys, like they said, they had a lot of fun. And it was just something, like I said, real laid back. You can come and go. You can come in, chill for a little bit, leave, or if you want to leave it on in the background. We checked the comments. My daughter had the comments up. I had it up on the computer. So we're going to do that again. I think we had a lot of fun doing it, and puts a little pressure on them to really do the songs really well. I think that was the key. It wasn't just kind of like people are listening, so it was kind of like karaoke, but Rock Band style. So that was a lot of fun. So we definitely want to do that again. But as far as National Owners Day goes with that games, I'm really interested, like I said, in the new Taito tables. That's something, like, I know a lot of you guys, Meatball Saucy for one, he's like a genius when it comes to modding the pinball. He was probably one of the first people I seen really like throw a PC in and do all kinds of cool stuff with it. For me, I got to keep it simple because I have too many people coming in and out of here playing. I can't set up a PC on it. It probably would be a waste for me because nobody would play it that way. Easy mode on the Legends Pinball, fantastic. People can come in, cycle through games, and play it. And so for me on National Owners Day, that's what I'm excited for. And I think I'm joining the Super Game Room dudes on Thursday night. We're doing the Super Show to talk about all the National Owners Day stuff. So I believe the whole Retro Buzz crew was invited to go on with those guys, P-Dubs and crew. I don't know if all the Retro Buzz guys are going to be available, but my plan is to be on there and attend, as if you guys can't get enough of me. But I think Glenn might go on there. And I know you guys out there, and he'll never tell you this, and he'll probably shoot me if I tell you this. But Glenn got some news today. Like I said, he was playing with his dog, and he got some news that I guess his dog has to have surgery. And Glenn is kicking around an idea of doing a GoFundMe. The problem is he's worried that he's going to catch crap from the community as what happened and what transpired a few weeks ago with some YouTubers. And I'm not going to get into it right now, but just hear me out. It's going to cost him $11,000, and he's got the paperwork for it, to have his dog have surgery. And the dog's 9 years old. And he loves the dog. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do without the dog. So I'm just putting it out there to everyone, send Glenn some well wishes, send him some encouragement, because he's really distraught right now. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know, part of him's like, well, should I just put the dog down, or should I, go into debt and pay for this $11,000 surgery? And I can't answer that for him. I told him I would never look down on you, and I would help promote it if you did a GoFundMe, and I would even donate toward it. Me personally, for everything he's done for the community, for everything that he has been to the community, I think I would have to say shame on somebody that would come against him for doing this, because it's expensive. I mean, it really is. So he doesn't know I'm saying this. He has no idea that I've told anybody about this. So if he gets mad at me, I'll take the heat for it. But P-Dubs, his dog, let me see here. His dog, something happened when he was playing with him, and the dog has something with his discs. I really don't know the extent of it. Glenn would have to tell you. But he has the paperwork, and he showed me and Doug, and it's like $11,000. I think he needs a deposit of $8,000 if he's going to do the surgery. And like I said, he really wants to do, he's kicking around doing a GoFundMe, but he's really worried that he's going to get backlash from the community. So that's why he's, again, and honestly, that's what a GoFundMe is for. That really is what it's for. So, I mean, I've seen people do it for burials for family members that maybe didn't have life insurance, and I've donated to it. I've seen disaster reliefs. If somebody in the community here was affected by the hurricane down in Louisiana, I honestly would. I would hope one of you guys would come forward, or if you knew somebody that watches these shows, whether it's our show, my show, P-Dub's show, anybody's show, Cool Toy, I would hope somebody would come in here and tell us like, hey, somebody just lost their home due to this hurricane down in Louisiana, and they started a GoFundMe. And I mean, I'm not saying we could just donate $20,000, but I think, if you show support to these content creators, and the content creators can get it out there for you and help you, get it out there, and know that you're a community member, that, to me, that's what community is about. It's not about, oh, you got this money and blah, 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 blah. Listen, whatever you do with your money is your business. You know in your heart you did the right thing. That's all that matters. Even if that person scammed you, even if that person went and blew that money on something, you just sit back and you go, you know what? I did the right thing. I did what in my heart I felt was the right thing. They blew it on something that they lied to us. Okay, well, you know what? What goes around comes around, as they say. And so the next time when they really need help, you pull back and you're like, nah, no, I'm not going to do that. So you learn from that. So, like I said, I'm not campaigning for you guys to donate to Glenn. He was down last week on the show. I don't know if you guys realized it. He wasn't up to his normal Glenn self, but he sent a message today to Doug and I, and he's really caught between a rock and a hard place. So I see you, Mike. You're saying you want to donate to him. Definitely, reach out to Glenn. Don't do it through me. Go to Glenn. Whatever you want to do. But I'm just saying. P-Dub says anyone who gives backlash is a clown, and their opinion doesn't matter. No, and I agree with that. I really do. I agree with that. I think if any of you guys had a legit reason, I don't care if it's, listen. We had a community member. I'm going to tell you a little story here. If you didn't know this, I didn't pre-order the PS5. I didn't pre-order the Xbox One X, and I still don't have it. Okay, but there's a community member that watches this show, watches the Retro Buzz Fridays, watches different shows that I've done. He sends me a message on Facebook. He happens to be friends with Doug. He says, hey, this was back when my son was on the show. He says, hey, I heard you didn't go through the hoops, and I don't blame you, to buy the PS5. But I saw that, your son seemed like he wanted to play it. You were all about doing reviews, pictures, and playing it and playing live. He says, I bought 2 of them. I'll give it to you at cost, which is basically what he paid for it. He didn't upcharge me. He said, just pay for shipping. Whatever shipping that you want, if you want it in a day, we'll pay for that. If you want it snail mail and it's cheaper, pay for that. And so I did. I PayPal'd him the money. He called me up. I gave him my phone number. He called me up, put me on video. And what he did was he showed me, he got it, unboxed it. Well, just like opened the packaging, showed me it was there, showed me it was sealed, it was legit, closed it back up, called me from, I think it was a UPS or what? No, it was FedEx store, showed me that he was there sending it. Like, I believed him. He was a police officer, so, I mean, really, I would hope he wouldn't lie. But no, he was really good, and I got it the next day. So to me, that's how the community should work. And nobody's asking for anything here, but I'm just putting it out there. We had a guy, Meatball Saucy. Do you remember? Yeah, you could set it up on someone's behalf, Meatball Saucy. You absolutely can. Do you remember who was the gentleman that was in there? Was it Brad? What was his hand? Brad the game something. He was actually, I think he lives on the shore of Louisiana, and I hope he's all right. He was telling us in there, he was like, this was great. It takes my mind off of the week that's about to unfold in front of me when we were doing the karaoke Saturday. No, I don't think Patton Plays was in on Saturday night. I don't think. If he did, he came under another name, but I don't think he was in. But I think, again, I'm reaching out on behalf of Glenn, because Glenn's worry is right now, and that's where I think you community members could really back him up, because everybody sees the YouTubers, and I've seen comments, which is why I left all the groups. I'm in the iArcade. He's okay, just no power. Okay, well, that's good, Travis. I appreciate that update. Hopefully they get power to him soon, and it's not weeks and months, and that would just be awful. But somebody showed me a comment this week. It said the YouTubers are ruining the gaming community, and I just think that's such a narrow-minded comment, because whether you like YouTubers, content creators, whatever, we're all content creators, and I hate to say it, but the content creators were the ones as you guys call YouTubers, were the ones that opened up the ability for us to communicate with these companies on a regular basis. Whether they chose to anymore or not, we still did. We opened that back and forth dialogue. So, there are content creators out there that abuse their audience. Not going to lie. 100%. There's a lot of e-beggars out there. 100%. Not going to lie. But you have to look at the guys that never ask for a dime, that never say, I have super chats enabled. When have you guys ever heard me say, you guys could super chat me? Never. What have we always said? We've come on and we said, we'll read your comments, whether you give us a super chat or not. We don't care. It's not about that. But there are some people that suggested that we turn it on, because there are people that want to donate to what you're doing. And we appreciate that. But there are people out there that are like, hey guys, we're almost to that goal of $1,000 a night. Like, to me, that's where it's kind of like taking advantage of the community a little bit when you're asking for it every night, or you're asking for them the constant. I don't know any of these content creators that are friends of mine on here that do that. I don't think I've seen one person do that. Just being honest. If I was going to say anything. And when I look at, something like this, some people look at Glenn's dog as it's a dog. And I even said to him, I'm like, look, if it was my cat's 10 years old. If she needed $11,000 worth of surgery, I would probably end up saying, I hate to say this, my wife would probably say something different, but she's not home, so I don't care. But I would probably say, well, that cat lived a good life. Now it's time to go to kitty heaven in the sky. I hate to say it like that. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's just, I don't have that bond with that cat the way Glenn has a bond with his dog. So, it's just how I feel. I wouldn't go to you guys and say, we need to GoFundMe to save my cat. My daughter might say that, Papa Brad's Gaming. Yes, Papa Brad's Gaming. Is that Brad? What's his last name? Brad O'Connell's. Yes, Brad O'Connell. I was gonna say that's how I know. I know Brad O'Connell. Okay, so he's the one down there in Louisiana. Okay. Travis says most of the creators are and have done an amazing job. A couple of people are too negative for me, so what do? I just don't watch them, and that's how it should be. Listen, not everybody's gonna like me. Not everybody's gonna like my style. Not everybody's gonna agree with me, and that's okay. I would hope you all didn't agree with me. Honestly, how much fun would it be here in the chat room if every single one of you agreed with everything I said? That's why we have a diverse panel when we do a show. We have a diverse panel so that way you guys get a wide scope of everything that we're talking about so you can make an intelligent decision on whatever we're talking about, right? To me, that just makes sense. I just think that some people have just a wrong opinion. Notice I said it's an opinion. It's not gospel. I have an opinion. You have an opinion. We all have opinions. Doesn't make it right. It's just an opinion. Hollywood Bolo says, I want to get the Taito Pack too. I agree with you. Control panel and deluxe pack. I have the control panel for the pinball. I just have not got it on yet. I've been too busy working on my audio here in the studio, trying to get you guys the best quality that I possibly can, because that's how I get obsessed with stuff like that I got to dial it in. Kamala says, I'm getting the Taito Volume 2. I agree with that. And maybe a 4-player control panel and LCD marquee. Now, the LCD marquee looks really sweet. I'm not going to lie. Greg Terry says, I had a church member bring me a cat over on Christmas Eve to take care of the euthanization. That's pretty much, I hate to say it, Greg, but that's, yeah, man. I mean, I get it. They're a part of your family. Listen, I'm not saying they're not, but I'm like, I can't justify. I didn't pay for the cat. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm just not attached to animals like that. I'm just not. Some people are, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that. My kid? Yeah, absolutely. I would, I'm not going to say, okay, well, it was nice knowing you. But just now, my wife, she'd probably pay the $11,000, and that's okay. I'd have to compromise with her or something. Travis says, better than last week. Pretty good. How about you, Polo? Okay, so he's talking to Hollywood Polo here. So, I don't know if P-Dubs is still around. Dubs, if you want to jump on, you have the link. If you don't have the link, I could send it to you if you want to jump on and just hang out with us here. I don't know if you're doing anything. I'll send you a message on Facebook. And let's see here. Let's see if he's around. If he's in the chat room or somebody wants to ping him. And we'll get him on. It's not like he's got anything better to do right now anyways. I don't think he's still on the clock. Oh, dang it. I spelled it wrong. Jeez. Give me a second here, guys, while I send the link to him so he can call in. I think I put a space where I shouldn't have. It's hard to do it on your phone, let me tell you. So let's do this. Copy. That worked. This is the correct one. There we go. That's the correct one. So we'll see if he's able to jump on. If not, it's no big deal. Again, we're chilling here. Meatball Saucy, let me get back to the comments here in the chat here. Meatball Saucy says he'd like to get the Taito Volume 2, the 2-core Maxes, Pixelcade LCD, and the new Pixelcade HV for the At Games Legends Ultimate. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. And Kevin says, how has your experience been with live to air? How many guests can you bring in with your setup? Been looking at it for one of my projects. Kevin, I've actually brought in 4. and then myself as a host. I've also done Zoom with it. So we have 4 people on live to air, and I've done Zoom through my MacBook Pro over there, and plenty of bandwidth. My bandwidth here in my studio is 400 down and 50 up. So because I use a cloud service called Switchboard, I essentially stream to the cloud with one destination from my studio, and then the cloud disperses it, if you will, to all the other destinations. Now, this stream right now that I'm doing is just strictly on YouTube. We're just doing YouTube. And that's mainly because most of you guys are on YouTube, and I'm trying to build more community here on YouTube. Not necessarily subscribers. I'm because like I obviously everybody wants subscribers, but I'm doing it more to just build community. So when I go live, people join, and whether it's Retro Buzz or whether it's broadcasting or game talk, we have a nice community here. So that's kind of why I'm doing that. Travis says supposedly PK still has a big announcement he hasn't mentioned yet for National Owners Day. That has me excited as well. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different announcements that are coming. So, yeah. Nemesis. I spy a Steve. Hello, old friend. Hello, Nemesis. You used to be under a different name, if I remember correctly. What was your username handle before? I forget now. Nathan Henderson, have you seen the newest or the newer PS5 fans are louder? I'm glad glad to have got one earlier at this point. I have not seen that, but I've seen reports. When I say I haven't seen it, I haven't listened to any videos where it was louder, but I've seen the reports. I myself am glad I got a newer one. Did you guys see the leak for the Xbox Series X with the new Halo? It does look sick, if that's legit. So, let's see here. P-Dub says he needs a few, and then he'll probably jump on. So we'll have a regular old just hang out. But again, this is open forum. Anything you want to talk about. If you want to ask broadcasting questions, I'll answer broadcasting questions or live streaming questions. We're talking retro games, arcades, whatever. It really doesn't matter. I was just going on a little bit of a tale. Oh, yes, Pier, Grim Reaper, yes. I knew you have a bunch of different names. I'm still waiting for you to jump over on the Discord server, man. I know you're the IRC guy, but you need to jump on the Discord. That's close to IRC. I've got that up and running. The IRC, the Discord, I just got to get people to use that during a show. That's the hard part. Because the chats on the side of the video are just that much easier. The Halo Xbox is confirmed. Do we have a release date for that? Does anybody know? Mike, is there a release date for that? And do you know what the price is potentially going to be? I heard it's going to be like $6.99, which I think is outlandish, but because it's a bundle, they're going to try to rock you for everything. So that means the scalpers are going to sell it for like $1,500 because you've already seen the truck drivers. They're sitting. They sat today for 12 hours. Or excuse me, 24 hours, and then you got the ports backed up because of COVID. We might not see the Halo one until next year. It might be this time next year we're talking about, hey, we're finally getting that Halo Xbox Series X. I shouldn't laugh about it, but I kind of feel like that's the direction we're headed. Yeah. You're always on Discord, but too many servers. Right. Yeah, excuses, Mr. Peer. Mike's saying mid-November he believes that he will have the or excuse me, that Xbox will have that out. So I'm thinking it probably won't be here before Christmas. I'll be surprised if they release it in November. If they do, they'll probably have like 6 of them, and everybody in the world is going to fight over them. That's what's going to happen. You know that. Everybody is, and I apologize if I seem a little congested today. Allergies because we're having a change in temperature. We went from almost 90 degrees down to, I think today we're at 64, 65 degrees, and I always get congested. And then, and then my ear was clogged this morning, so I had to put stuff in it. It's fine now, but it was just, and then working on all this other stuff just kind of didn't help. You're gonna message me? Yeah, no worries, Pierre. That's fine, Mr. Grim Reaper. So Pierre, or iNemesis, he used to be my community manager on IRC. He ran all my IRC, built it. He did all my bots, and now I got to get him a link to my Discord. Give me a second here while I open it up. The Discord, it's usually quiet. I'm not gonna lie, it's quiet, but I'm usually there all day. If people start talking, obviously I'll answer. So, but I don't usually see stuff. I see people come on the server and then they leave after a while. So, please send the weather to North Carolina. No way, man. I've waited all year for this. I love the fall. I hate the summer. I've actually even told my wife one day when I retire, I'd love to retire to Alaska. And she's like, at that age, you wouldn't want to live in Alaska. And she's probably right. But Alaska has always piqued my curiosity. I would love, out of all places in the world, if you told me somebody would come here, pack up everything I have here, and I could swap houses in Alaska, I would probably be hard for me not to do it. I really like Alaska. Never been there, but everything I've read a lot about it, watched a lot of documentaries and TV shows that have to do with Alaska, and I don't know. People always like, oh, I don't think you could handle the winter where it's just dark. And you're probably right. That would probably get to me, but the pros outweigh the cons for me. I don't like the heat. When you're in my house in the summertime, my AC is set to 67 degrees. In the wintertime, or in the summertime, or the winter, it's also 67 degrees. Sorry, I'm getting dubs up here. Alrighty, you should be on, sir. How are you?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm doing well. I just gotta get zoomed in here. I was waiting to see if you had we were gonna pull another Legends Center thing here, or you were gonna come on with I was gonna don't do that to me now again.
Yeah, they're not ready for that. They're not ready for that kind of activity, Haywood.
No, not yet. So,
good to be on, my friend.
Yeah, like I said, I was just kicking around, and I've been battling a lot of audio issues because the new TriCaster had some problems that I have to wait for them to fix. So I just went around it and fixed it myself.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I bought an audio interface to put on it, so now I got the real high-end preamps and such. So
I'm really sorry to hear about Glenn's dog.
Yeah, he kind of brought up a little bit about it on Friday's show, but he didn't really elaborate. He just, but then today he said about the dog, and that's why I said Glenn's not the type of guy that's going to go out there and say it, and I'm not in any way telling any of these guys to go out and donate money to him. I'm just saying send your well wishes, whatever you feel inclined to do. I don't need to know about it. Don't really, that's between them and Glenn. So that's kind of why, but Glenn's not that type of guy who's going to just. So I said, if he gets mad at me, he gets mad at me, but I think this is warranted of getting mad at me.
Yeah. Well, if they get a GoFundMe started, let me know. I'll definitely contribute. So.
Well, and I said the same thing. I'll happily do that.
Yep. Thanks for the kind words in the live chat, Mike. Greatly appreciate it. It's definitely been an interesting struggle. So, I did my show Sunday night, and I was like, with the recent passing of my mom, I'm still going to try and keep busy, right? I'm still going to try and make videos and stuff. But yesterday, Monday, I literally just couldn't do it. And then today, I'm also off work, my day job all this week. I'm not going to go back to work until after the Labor Day holiday. So I'm like, okay, well, today's Tuesday. I'm going to try and film a video, right? And Steven, I couldn't do it, man. It's so hard. It's so hard. You know what I mean? To pull out the camera and start setting up lights and
Yep.
you know what I mean? And try and make a video. And I just couldn't do it, man. But when it comes to like just doing these live streams where you can just sit and talk to people, like this
Yeah.
is a lot easier. You know what I mean? So,
Well, I mean,
so I
it's
did.
still
Yeah,
fresh, dude. You just lost your mom. I mean, it's like nobody's gonna
I know.
expect you to come out and start popping videos out.
Yeah.
You got to take your time. You got to.
Yeah, I know. And but me, I've always been like the, when there's something happening that's bad to try and, what's the word? Be busy, stay busy, right? Staying busy keeps you busy and you kind of avoid dealing with stuff, but I just can't do it. What's up, Meatball? Good to see you. Hollywood Polo, how was your day? Good to see you as well. Todd's here as well. He likes my Raiders of the Lost Ark t-shirt. You gotta love Raiders of the Lost Ark as well. That's fantastic. So,
Yeah, man.
but I'm hoping that I can film something. You know what I mean? So everyone might think I'm being a big baby, but it's like it's just tough, man. Like earlier today, I literally sat there and like for 2 hours straight, I was just sitting there on the couch like this, just thinking about my mom. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, it just sucks.
Yeah.
And then also I was thinking about Detroit Love. His mom is very, very sick in the
Oh,
hospital with COVID. And, Stephen Nostalgia's mom is ill as well, not with COVID, but with something else. And I'm like, what's going on with all the game room dude moms? You know what I mean? Like seriously, bad juju over there. So,
it's a
but
tough time,
anyway,
man. It's a tough time, and
yeah,
and people just have to understand. I mean, especially with the holidays coming, man. It's a first. It's going to be one of those. It's your first. First without mom, and it's going to be tough again. And I only know that because my wife went through it with her dad when he dropped of a massive heart attack a few years ago. He was only 60 years
mhm.
old, walking in the woods and like that. He was dead before he hit the ground.
Yeah, my dad,
So,
he died. My dad died 20 years ago, and he was 58. Heart
oh
attack,
man,
same thing. And he was gone before the ambulance even got there. You know what I mean?
that's it. Yep.
Like he would. I mean, they worked on him the entire way to the hospital, but he was DOA. Like he had a massive heart attack, which is heartbreaking. Um, and now mom's gone here 20 years later, right? So,
Yep.
but gonna hang with you for a bit tonight. Also, the Basement Corner Arcade Show. MCAP invited me on, so I'm gonna chill with those guys tonight. If you guys watch that show, and then maybe I'll film a video. We'll see. We'll see. But
You're just bored now.
um, well, I don't know. The produced videos are really good because if we make tutorials, the community seems to appreciate the tutorials, right?
Yeah.
Like tutorial videos, you never get any crap from. If you do a product review, it's like your
You're a
viewers
shill.
will. If you like a product and say it's great, you're a sellout. If you crap on a product, you're a hater. You know what I mean? But all we can continue to do is keep being honest and providing our opinion in these review videos. You know what I mean? So
Well, and I don't. Some of the influencers know I posted a picture in the Act Games. We have a Skype chat after the last firmware, and I'm like, "What is this, guys? You brought out a new firmware and it killed pinball. You have to use the two side buttons to get into any of the games." And they're like, "Oh, well, we're having a server issue." And it's like, well, why would
yeah,
you release new firmware without checking the server for like that? Just to me, that's just 101, right? Like why
yeah.
why would you do that? Like we call
I
spade a spade.
Well, what's funny is new customers to At Games, right? Like new customers to At Games, they have a hard time with the user interface. People say we don't complain about the user interface as much as we should, but Steven, we've been using this interface for 2 years. To me, it's like part of my body now. You know what I mean? Like I know how to navigate an At Games product.
Yep.
Somebody brand new, they might find it a little weird or a little bit, overwhelming. But then also when it comes to the firmware, if you remember, Steven, do you remember back in March before National Owners Day? I'm sorry, February this year.
Yeah.
they had all kinds of issues as well with the servers the week of National Owners
National
Day.
Owners Day.
If you guys remember back in February, the week of National Owners Day, everything was breaking. I don't know
Oh
why. Maybe it's
no.
because they're getting ready to launch stuff. I don't know.
Isn't National
And
Owners Day
here,
this weekend?
yeah, it's this weekend, and so it's
Oh.
kind of the same thing, man. It's like they're getting stuff ready to go live. Like for instance, on some people's pinball machines, it says that the Taito Pack 2 is there, and people are already going on Facebook, Discord, Reddit, saying, "Hey guys, it's there. You can buy the Taito games," and you can't. You know, it's a placeholder until it actually goes live on Thursday. You know, so it's like they went through this because we've been there, done that. Like we're a little more numb to it than the newer fans, I think. You know what I mean?
No, I would agree with that, but I also think that it's one of those things where you sit there and you ask yourself, you're like, now I'm not a QA guy, but I've done support. I go, why didn't you check that before you sent it? And maybe I'm just being too critical, but
Oh yeah. Oh no. No, I agree. I agree, but again, I'm a little more numb to it because after 2 years of covering at games, I'm just used to, hey, we released a firmware update. It's got a new feature, but it also kind of broke something else. You know what I mean?
yeah,
However, I have said constantly over the last month of streams that what worries me, Stephen, is the list of known issues on the firmware updates now. It's getting rather long. You know what I mean? And I understand National Owners Day is coming out. They got to push the new pinball games and get some of that stuff going. But I'm hoping after National Owners Day, instead of adding new features to the cabinet or cabinets, that at games will slow down and let's shorten that list. Let's fix all those issues, get it down to just a couple, and then start adding new features again. You know what I mean? So I hope At Games considers doing that myself. That's just my humble opinion because that list is getting quite long,
yeah,
quite extensive.
yeah.
And I think that needs to be shrunken down because I just don't think that looks good. Like, hey guys, here's an email, and keep in mind this stuff they send out themselves to their own customers. Here's an email. Hey guys, here's the firmware update. We added these two cool features, but now that list is even bigger. Known issues. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that looks good on a corporate
No,
email blast. You know what
no.
I'm saying?
I like the fact that they're being transparent, and I do want to say hi to Brad O'Connell, Papa Brad's Gaming. He was down there.
Yeah.
He lives right on the edge of where the hurricane, I guess, was hitting. So I was
Hmm.
glad to see he's all right, and he just suffered some broken windows. I know that's still,
Oh,
it's
good.
still damage, but at least his house is there. It's not flooded. It was quite tragic with everything. So I was just asking about you earlier in the stream. Wanted to see. I see you guys are chatting about it. No, it was no joke. I watched the coverage on the Weather Channel, and I know some of those weather guys, they can get like, like faking it, like we're gonna blow away, and then you see guys walking behind them. But I did
Oh,
see
you're
a lot of
going
the,
like going
yeah,
like this in the wind.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I did see
Yeah.
some destruction. I watched videos that people put up on TikTok where roofs were blowing off, and like it was just insane. So no joke,
Yeah.
man, no joke.
Well, I'm glad Brad's okay. We all love Brad. Brad is one of the biggest supporters of all the content creators in our
Yes.
space. And I don't know if you heard this or not, Stephen, but Brad is legit.
Is he legit? Too legit to
He's
quit?
he's too legit. um, yeah. So what else is on your mind, brother? What do you want to talk? Video games, or you
I'm
want to
just
talk
every
broadcasting? What do you got?
everything's just open, man. I'm just leaving it open. Just coming on here, just chilling, chit chatting. But no, the National Owners Day thing was something I was thinking about. Everybody was I was asking what they were excited about, and I don't know if you know the
Um,
answer to this, but that Core Max, is that a little
mhm.
bit more friendly? Like if we wanted to, and I don't care if Arcade One Up's listening, I really don't care. But if like I have a modded Arcade One Up, if I wanted to take the Pi out of there without going through like an Xbox USB device to get my joysticks and stuff working, is it more friendly with that now?
Not yet. They have not added that zero delay encoder support yet. You know what I mean? So until that gets added, you couldn't just like swap it with like your Pi mod in your
Yeah,
arcade
see, that's
cabinet.
that would sell me on the Max.
Hmm.
It really would.
Yeah. Um, what I do like is that the Legends Core Max has got that beefier chip in it. It's got the pinball chip.
Yeah.
And then whatchamacallit, so the like pinball games, 1080p, 60 frames per second, that kind of stuff, and the games will look and perform better. I think that's a great idea. And actually, I saw a guy, he wrote a question on Facebook, Stephen. He goes, hey man, he goes, would it be possible then if I took my Legends pinball and threw a 4K monitor in there, or 1080p, like a better 1080p monitor than what's in the At Games pinball? And what if I turn around and put the 4K monitor in there that's got HDMI inputs and replace the back box monitor? And what if I did all that so I can connect my PC to the cabinet? He goes, can I then take the Legends Core Max and hook it up to the pinball machine to still run the Legends ecosystem natively, or not natively? Well, yeah, running it through their HDMI and OTG inputs. Well, because it should read the control deck the same way it reads the Gamer Pro, Gamer Mini control decks, as well as the pinball control deck, theoretically, that's possible.
It should work.
You know what I mean? So I told him in Facebook that I said, in theory, yes. Yep. And it might be a good way to do a complete overhaul to your pinball machine if you want it. Not everyone's going to do this.
Right.
If you want it, but also to then you have your PC running the cabinet, but then you also, if you wanted to participate in At Games events and play the At Games games, you could use that Legends Core Max.
Yeah.
So in theory, that could work. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does that. So
Al says, if you have the pinball, why would you need the Core Max? No, I agree with that. I've already said that. I'm not interested in that. And the other comment here on the wrestling side of thing, Mike says, thoughts on CM Punk's return? Is he to AEW what Hulk Hogan was to WCW? Honestly,
no. Well, CM Punk is not Hulk Hogan.
No, but I think CM Punk is LeBron James. He's LeBron James to Hulk Hogan, Michael Jordan. Does that make sense?
Nah, I wouldn't say he's that good.
Oh, CM Punk?
CM Punk is great.
Not as a wrestler.
He's from Chicago.
He's an entertainer.
Yeah, I know. But CM Punk is not at the level that some of those other big names are at. You know what I mean? So, and keep in mind, wrestling is still in a bit of a decline right now. I mean, AEW and WWE still aren't getting the ratings that WWF, WCW were getting back during the Monday Night Wars. I'm actually worried about WWE. I have a feeling that, in my opinion, I think Vince is going to sell the company. I think that's why they're shrinking it, getting rid of the big paychecks, all that kinds of stuff. I think they're positioning the company for sale. And that's got to change everything, right? Like if the McMahon family actually sells WWE, what happens to it?
I could see Tony Khan buying it and doing the reversal.
I wouldn't. Why not?
Why not? Right? You own it. But I think CM Punk.
Can you imagine if Tony Khan came out and did what Vince McMahon did?
That's what I'm saying. I could see that happening.
But can you imagine Tony Khan come out and repeat word for word what Vince McMahon said?
Oh, that would be the ultimate troll.
My competition. He goes, I have bought my competition. Do you remember that episode of Monday Night Raw where he was broadcasting on both Monday Nitro and Monday Night Raw? He's like, I now own WCW. Can you imagine if Tony Khan did that with AEW? That would be hilarious. I do think AEW has got a lot more going on with it than WWE. I find their shows more entertaining, more enjoyable. They remind me more of the shows that we fell in love with.
Yeah.
WWE is it's reverted back to what it was before the Attitude Era, when it was just a bunch of goofy characters and goofy segments. Like the whole AEW is putting on amazing segments, and the best WWE writers can come up with is, let's give the Miz some water squirt bottles.
I know.
That's the best they can come up with. And look at what AEW is doing. They're actually putting on a professional wrestling show. So
I know you said CM Punk's not that good, or he's not the caliber of Hulk Hogan, but they didn't put the belt on him yet. And I still say if he would have been utilized the way WWE was utilizing him on his championship run, and they would have pushed him, he got the biggest pop in the history in the history of professional wrestling when he came back. The biggest pop, the biggest response.
Oh,
It blew it
yeah.
up.
Yeah, true, true, true. But also keep in mind, one thing that hurt TNA Impact was anytime WWE cast somebody aside, they brought him in immediately. They brought him in immediately,
But
and
this
it
has
was
been
all of a sudden it
7
was the
years.
WWE. I know, but I'm making a point here. But and it became like the WWE reject show. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
oh
That's what
yeah.
TNA Impact was, and people were like, "What the hell? We don't want to see these guys. Maybe a few of them, but not all of them." There was some really good talent in TNA that got ignored because they were bringing in former WWE guys who had bigger names, bigger followings than the guys they were trying to build. The problem I see with AEW is they're kind of doing the same thing. They're bringing in everyone that WWE, Christian Cage, Mark Henry, The
Yep.
Big Show. You know what I mean? Like they're bringing in, and a lot of these guys are past their prime. No, Daniel Bryan's not past his prime. CM Punk's not past his prime. I think he can still go. But will they fall victim to that? Will they? I mean, dude, they only have, you know, what, 2 hours of TV time
Yeah.
a week? And you got to budget that time and build up your current young roster. I did like the fact that CM Punk said he would be working with the young roster, but in all honesty, I hope that means he's also going to be putting over some of these guys. Yeah, he should probably win his first match or two coming back, right? Like this guy, the Sting, what's the guy? He Sting's protege that he's going to be wrestling
Darby
first.
Allin.
Yeah, like he'll probably beat Darby Allin.
Yeah.
He should probably win his first match or two, but after that, CM Punk should be doing the job, right? Doing the business. He should be putting some of these young kids over. That way, it gives them a boost.
I think
you know?
I think because Jericho's getting up there, Jericho was the face of AEW. He was Le Champion, and I think that
Oh,
they're putting a lot of stake at with Punk, and he's got a lucrative contract. And I almost see him being groomed the way The Rock was in WWE. I can almost see him being the GOAT. Honest to God, I think Punk has what it takes. And even if who cares if Daniel Bryan comes in? In my opinion, that guy's washed up. Before he was in his prime before he got injured. When he got injured and he took all that hiatus and he came back, it was kind of like, and it could have been his push. I would rather see the Fiend Bray Wyatt come to AEW and them take him as a super heel.
Well, if not, spread them out. I mean, AEW does not need to keep signing everyone who WWE lets go, fires, whatever, you know, because then they're going to do the same thing that TNA Impact did, right? It's going to be the WWE reject show.
Yes.
People aren't going to watch it. And now look where TNA Impact is. What I do like seeing is like some of these guys, like Braun Strowman, are supposedly going to TNA, right? And that'll help their brand. Getting a big name like that. But yeah, there's more than one place for these guys to go. You know, there's, you know, which is nice. But hopefully Tony Khan doesn't just keep throwing money at everybody the way the Jarrett family did back in TNA. Let's just keep bringing in them.
But don't look at these other guys as rejects, though, because for some reason WWE let them go, and I don't think they were smart letting Braun Strowman go. I thought that was so stupid. That was even worse than the Fiend. Like, you had a guy that could have been the man. Like, he could have beat Roman. Now they make Roman Reigns like he's some Superman. Like, he even put, John Cena put him over. And I'm like, it's the same old song and dance. Who in WWE besides? And then they bring Brock Lesnar back, who looks like the Viking King. I'm like,
he had the man bun, right?
Yeah, he has the shaved side with the long. I'm just like, I'm sick of Brock Lesnar. I'm sick of Oldberg. Like, he just needs to retire already.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they keep bringing these guys back just for these one-off appearances, Goldberg, John Cena. And do you remember back in the day, John Cena's shtick was he would insult guys like The Rock who would come back for one-off appearances, right?
And he's doing the same thing.
He's doing the same damn thing. Like, hey, I'm going to show up for one match, get paid, and I'm gone. You know what I mean? Like, he told everyone he was back. He came back for one match. You know what I mean? SummerSlam. He's gone.
One match.
You're not going to see John Cena for a long time. Maybe not until the next big like event.
Adam Kalb sent a super chat. Appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. And he says, yes. Can't wait for the Daniel Bryan return. Listen, I know there's a lot of Daniel Bryan fans.
I love Daniel Bryan.
I just think he's past that pop.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I think I think just like CM Punk when he first shows up in AEW, it's going to be huge. The whole crowd's going to be going yes, 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 yes. Whether or not he's allowed to do that, I don't know. Like what his contract, says. Like if does WWE own the trademark to yes, yes, yes? I don't know, but it's going to be big. Like he'll get the same big reaction as CM Punk. Um, and yeah, you want to push these guys. You want them to be successful. You want them to get some wins. But I do think too, like some of these guys who are in their late 30s and stuff, we have to think about the future of professional wrestling. And guys, it's been a never-ending roller coaster cycle where you're young, you're hot, but when you get older and it's winding down, you put the young guys over.
But
You
you
know
know
what I
what?
mean?
Like,
In order to build up their status, build up their superstar status. It's called doing the job, right? So
did you ever watch the
hopefully
Undertaker?
they'll do that.
Did you ever watch the Undertaker's documentaries that they had?
Which one? They made like 90
Well,
of
so
them.
where he's talking, well, no, the one where he's talking about it, and one of the things he said, and it's 100% true. He says the last thing I want to do is some fan that grew up watching the Undertaker, the all-powerful Undertaker, to say to his child, "I remember when the Undertaker was good," or "I remember when the Undertaker moved better." I said that to my son. I'm like, that's not the way the Undertaker is. The Undertaker's a joke right now because the Phenom, the way I knew him, was the guy that
Mhm.
did old school across the top rope, that came down on Jimmy Superfly Snuka's arm and was unbeatable and the scary looking dude. This broken down Undertaker, I'm glad he retired. I think it's saved his legacy, and I'm afraid I'm saying that because these guys like John Cena, they can't wrestle these long matches now that they're in Hollywood because they can't get hurt.
Well, let's ask the $1,000,000 question. And I want everyone in the live chat to answer this question. Should the streak have been broken? What are your thoughts, Haywood?
Yes, the streak should have been broken.
And was Brock Lesnar the guy to do it?
At the time, Brock Lesnar was the guy. I would have been pissed. I hate to say this because I do like John Cena to an extent. I would have been pissed if they gave it to John Cena or Roman Reigns at the time. The only other person that I could have seen that would have been there to break the streak would have been Seth Rollins because of the push that they were giving him.
Yeah, he was getting a monster push. So there's a lot of people out there who think Undertaker should have not broken the streak. I actually think yes, the streak should have been broken, but I don't think against Lesnar.
No, not against Lesnar.
I think he could have put Lesnar over.
But wait,
and then they could have.
But wait,
Taker. I'm sorry. I think he could.
Taker requested Lesnar. That's what I didn't understand.
Yeah, I mean, and that's his decision. That's his decision. I would have liked to see somebody else besides Lesnar. Maybe it's because I'm not the world's biggest Lesnar fan.
I'm not either.
But then again, he looks good on TV. He plays a villain well on TV. So why not?
But who would have given the biggest shock? Was Brock Lesnar?
I don't know.
It was Brock Lesnar. They positioned him perfectly for that. Like I understand the business side of that. He was the best choice. Why? Because now you hate him even more.
But then again, he came back, wrestled 2 more WrestleManias after that, and I think one of them did he lose to Roman Reigns?
He did, yeah.
Who did he? He ended at I forget what it is, something in 2 losses or some shit. Like that never should have happened. You know what I mean?
Kong's the rest. Yes, I got tired of my hair, and I cut it.
Yeah, you got your Daniel Bryan haircut.
I went back to my normal tech buzz, if you want to call it that. But yeah,
Tech Buzz, literally Buzz haircut.
Yeah, when I was working in the studio here, and it kept falling on my face, and if I combed it down the front, it was like down to here, so I was kind of like, okay, I was gonna let it grow out. My wife's like, no, you look like Shaggy, you need to cut it. So.
Haywood, let me throw some stuff out there, and I've noticed our viewership is starting to grow here on this live stream. What if, how we always do all these video game shows, right? I was thinking, you remember I reached out to you behind the scenes. I was like, hey, we could always do like a a show about like collectibles. Maybe we can get Cool Toy involved. Do you think the community would want another wrestling podcast show, but from us retro gamers? I mean, we all grew up watching that stuff.
I would love to do a wrestling show, honestly. My
It'd be
CM Punk shirt just
it'd
came
be
today.
your CM Punk shirt just came today.
Just came today.
I couldn't get one because the website kept crashing.
Dude,
and
I
got
sat there
mad. Like
refreshing it, and it would go page to
Yeah.
page.
Yeah. Hey guys, let us know in the live chat. Would you guys like a collectible show, which would basically cover like toys, comics, action figures, statues, things like that? Or would you guys like a wrestling podcast show? Let us know in the live chat, guys. We greatly appreciate your feedback. I know I'm always looking to do something a little different to kind of change things up.
I'm laughing at
What's so funny?
Kongs Are Us. He goes, "You previously looked like emo Tech Buzz with the long hair. Tech Buzz Buzz cut is cool." Okay.
Yeah. So look at me, Paul. Yeah. So like for instance, I always incorporate a lot of pro wrestling stuff in my content. I've done that for nearly 2 years now. You know what I mean? And like we started doing the DWO thing, and now the Basement Corner Arcade is playing the NWO music as their countdown music. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of wrestling fans in our community because we grew up watching that stuff. You know what I mean? Like I remember I was a kid watching Monday Night Raw in Jeff's basement when The Rock was doing the People's Elbow. Yep. I stood up, and I'm a kid, and I'm doing this, the hand movements, and I run back and forth, and I dropped an elbow on his basement floor, and we heard a massive pop and a splatter. And what happened, Steven, is when I dropped down to do the People's Elbow, I landed on a bag of Doritos, and it burst the bag open, and all the Doritos went flying everywhere, like over the couch and everything. So if anyone asks me what my professional wrestling record is, P-Dubs is 1-0 against a bag of Doritos, nacho cheese.
I think it would be fun to do. I don't know if I want to do the toys / collectibles only because I'd end up buying all these toys and my wife would shoot me.
So we should keep Cool Toy off, right? Because he has them.
He costs me enough money already. But no, I think
he's the drug dealer.
I think so. A wrestling podcast or a wrestling show I think would be a lot of fun to talk about.
Yeah.
I've been watching it since WrestleMania 5. So, yeah.
I like Papa Brad here. He said he wants to see P-Dubs wrestle Michael B. the Game Genie. So what's funny about that would be,
boy.
Michael B. and I are big boys. So it would be like when they did Big Show versus the sumo wrestler. You guys remember that match?
Yep.
That's what it would be. Michael B. and I would have to put on the diapers and stomp our feet.
That would kind of be funny.
That would be pretty funny. That would be hilarious.
There's a few wrestling podcasts out there. And the only thing I don't like is when the whole show is all speculation. Like I watch WrestleLamia. Anybody subscribe to that on YouTube? WrestleLamia. That's what it's called. All it is day after day. Why Daniel Bryan's going to AEW, and then if he doesn't go to AEW, why Daniel Bryan's not going to AEW? It's those type of gimmicky videos. I just wouldn't want to be a show like that. Like we're constantly like.
No, it would
rumors.
have to be more like kind of like what we do now. We deliver the arcade and gaming news. It would kind of be more of a wrestling news podcast and reactions to like the big Raw events or the shows. Not those clickbait prediction. Videos,
I don't like that
podcast.
Well, I mean, look at AJ Styles right now. They're using him. They're using AJ Styles to really give a push to Omos. Making him the next. So that's the type of thing I'd like to discuss. Like when you see things like that, or why Charlotte Flair got pinned. The women's champion last night got pinned.
Yeah.
Like, why did they do that? They just put the belt on her. Are they just trying to rack her number up so she can beat her old man at how many championships she had?
Possibly. But then again, I just saw another speculation video today on YouTube where Charlotte Flair is going to AEW. Now.
I saw that too because
and I'm like,
Andrade is there.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. I mean, that would be huge for AEW. Can you imagine if Charlotte Flair showed up? I mean,
well, there's still rumors the old man's going to show up.
Yeah,
because he asked for his release from WWE. So I don't know.
Wow. But then again, now we're speculating. We're not supposed to be speculating.
Well, no, he did get his release. He was in NWA the other
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Wrestling news plus Arcade Net codes. You know what? They asked us if we
Oh,
were going to give out Arcade Net
codes? I
codes.
haven't
So
gotten any yet.
I'm gonna have to get them. I'll have to talk. I have to hit
Yeah.
John
Uh,
up and.
you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the codes that AtGames sends me, and I'm going to send them to Rainwater Games. I'm going to send them to Jeff.
You're gonna send them to Jeff?
Like, hey, Jeff, I'm giving you 1,000 Arcade Net codes. That would be hilarious. No, I'm just teasing. All right, let me see. Oh, man, we got a lot of stuff here. Oh, and we can't show this stuff off until tomorrow that they just sent over?
I didn't see what they sent over.
Oh, yeah, they sent over... Well, you remember in their presentation, their YouTube video, they said we're going to make pictures and stuff available?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they sent it out, but they have an embargo date until tomorrow, so we can't show this stuff off until tomorrow. But we got some cool stuff here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do a YouTube video on it because I figure there's gonna be 50 million of them that are gonna drop, and everybody will get sick of seeing the same
you
thing.
guys are going to join us on the Thursday
Tomorrow
show,
night,
right?
yeah, or a Thursday night, yeah.
Thursday night show? Yeah,
Yep.
that should be fun. Where we'll go over this and get everybody's reactions.
Let me see here. I'm just responding back to. I had an issue or a bug, I should say, or I'm not even sure if it's a bug on the TriCaster, and they had emailed me back on it. So it's already tomorrow in the UK. You're not breaking anything. That's true. It's tomorrow somewhere.
There you go.
It's tomorrow somewhere.
Yeah. Travis said it wasn't funny. Well,
didn't they announce everything anyways?
Jeff and I are friends. After Jeff put his video out today, him and I did talk on the phone, guys. Trust me, there's no heat there. Jeff and I adore each other. So what you call it? So I teased him. I was like, so you're saying I shouldn't send you Arcade Net codes? So, it's just a big tease. What's really cool about our gaming community is, you have people who, we all love our own things, Stephen, like, and if we like stuff, we make content about it, right? You know what I mean? Just like there's a lot of guys out there that absolutely love Arcade 1-Up. Arcade 1-Up is the greatest thing that ever was ever made. And they make nothing but Arcade 1-Up videos, right? But that's what they like. When you go against the grain and you make videos for the smaller companies like I have over the years for Toy Shock, iArcade, and AtGames, I've been dealing with that kind of, stupid accusations I see in threads and videos about stuff. And, but the point is we make videos about the stuff we like. I've made it evidently clear to my audience that I'm into coin ops, Raspberry Pi builds. I'm into multicades. I'm into hacking consoles. I'm into bringing your own games. I'm into multicades. Like I have Rec Room Masters, you know what I mean? Here I have AtGames, iArcade, MVSX, all hacked, right? Except for the iArcade. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of content I make and I favor. Does that mean I'm a bad YouTuber? No, it's just the kind of content I make because it's stuff I'm interested in. So, and Jeff loves the iArcade, right? So it's kind of funny. If Jeff makes a video about iArcade or somebody else does, right? Like they love the iArcade. It's the greatest thing ever made. You know what I mean? And then the people who disagree, like Jeff has taken a lot of heat from people in Facebook groups and stuff where they're like, the iArcade is stupid, Rainwater. It's stupid. And Jeff will tell them it's awesome. You know what I mean?
let's put this out there. Okay. Yeah. The only reason why people are saying that is because they're jealous of where he's being received in the community by the company. That's just the reality of it. But he's putting himself out there.
Yeah.
Just like you did, just like I did. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you put yourself. It takes a lot more courage to get in front of a camera than it is to hide behind a keyboard. You know what I'm saying? So, I told Jeff today, him and I talked on the phone. I'll let you guys know. I told Jeff, I said, Jeff, I respect your opinion. I'm glad you shared it with everybody. And don't let anyone tell you not to share your opinion. You know what I mean? But I told him, I said, just remember though, when you make content, there's always a reaction. So I said, so just be ready for, reaction. Like if I make review videos of products, and when I point out opportunities for improvement, even though if I make a video and I make the video professional, like this stuff is great, but here's the opportunities for improvement. Instead of focusing on the things that I said that were great, some of the audience will only focus on the opportunities for improvement. And I'll see the comments on my video. P-dubs, you suck. P-dubs, you're an asshole. P-dubs, how dare you say that that's bad? It's amazing. You know what I mean? Like we see that stuff. You know what I mean? So people tend to focus more on the negative than they do the positive, unfortunately. So does that
Right.
make any sense?
No, that makes a lot of sense. That's why you have to have tough skin if you're going to do this. And this whole I'm a YouTuber, that person's a YouTuber, or the YouTubers are ruining it. I mentioned this earlier. Is we're not no none of these guys are YouTube. We're content creators. That's what we do. And you can get hung
Yeah.
up on the name, but the reality is we've bridged the gap for many years, and I've said this earlier, to these companies. Now, whether the companies decide to not work with us or any of us, or just go dark like Arcade One Up, then so be it. But the fact remains, they're doing a lot of this stuff because of the content we've created. Look at Games. It took them what 3 years before they decided to do their own tutorials. We were all doing
Mm-hmm.
tutorials way before them.
Yeah. So for instance, my channel, as well as my podcast shows, the Game Room Dudes, we have hosted and interviewed a couple dozen companies and media personalities. And also, we've hosted free of charge many community events to bridge that gap between the fans and these companies, such as we did the Toy Shock Pinball Christmas giveaway, the Toy Shock Pinball giveaway that was like in the summer. We did the iArcade summer sale special where we were celebrating iArcade lowering prices while everyone else was raising prices. Also, we hosted the National Owners Day last year. We're going to host it again today. And what's interesting, Stephen, is we do this free of charge for you guys, for the people out there who actually love us, love the content, appreciate the content, understand what the content actually is and means. That's why we do what we do. We're doing all this stuff free of charge for you guys. And, there's a lot of people out there who, they say stupid stuff like, oh, I wonder why they're doing it. They must be getting paid. No, we're not getting paid, guys. We're going to host the Nod shows for you guys to give you a place to come and check out and see what's going on. You know what I mean? With Games or whatever company it is at the time. And what's interesting, Stephen, is we don't have to do these things.
Oh, of course
You know
not.
what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But we do these things, and the people who respect that and appreciate that and keep coming back to the channels for more, that's why we keep doing them, despite what all the shills say. Like Kongzara said, P-dubs, what do you think in the live chat? He put, P-dubs, what do you think about people who call you a shill for Games or other companies? Do you ever get tired of explaining yourself? Not really, because I don't explain myself very often. Very few times do I have a conversation like this live on air. Very few times. Go back and watch my channel. But what I do is I keep coming back for the people who want to see that stuff. I don't care about the people who don't want to see that stuff. They can go scream in a Reddit page, make up conspiracy theories. You know what I mean? And it's amazing too, because the kind of people that think that way, I hate to be a fly on the wall during their dinner conversations, Stephen, because who knows what the hell they talk about. Oh my God, there's aliens in the White House.
Well,
And not only that, P-dubs is a shill for Games. You know what I mean? Like stupidity.
I don't even know. This is the first time when I got to this community I heard anything like that. Like I have companies in the broadcast industry who give me products all the time. They want me to use them. They want me to test them. They want me to give full reviews. They want me to give honest reviews. And I've never had anybody in the broadcast community go to me, "You're a shill for new tech. You're a shill for PTZ optics. You're a shill for this." I've never had that. You know what they say? Well, I'm so glad you got that and you could give your honest opinion. So I didn't go out and buy it and have my hands full with the problems that it gave me. That's usually the
Yeah,
responses that I get.
It's definitely something in the water of
I'm thinking so.
video game channel viewers. And it's not just the retro stuff, it's the modern stuff too.
Yeah, yeah.
The modern gaming channels, like I'll watch their videos, and these guys have what, 5 million subscribers. They post a video, they get 10,000 comments, and because they get so many comments they don't even read them. But I'll kind of read through a few comments, and the people say the same shit in there, like, RGT85, you got your head up your ass, you're a Nintendo Switch sucking blah blah blah, you know what I mean? And we get the same crap, and we cover a much smaller niche, you know what I mean? It's
Uh,
pretty funny.
I'm laughing at this. Who's this? This John D. This guy John D. is what is it? John D. No
What?
longer loves the community. That's his username. It says I can't find it to pull it up, but it says something like John D no longer loves the community. He says, P Dubs, I've literally heard you talk crap about me. You have criticized me several times. I've never said anything about you, but everyone
You know
knows
how
you
we
don't like me.
that's not the
Is
real
this
that's not the real
I was gonna
John
say,
D. That's
is this him pretending to be John D saying that you're like you don't like
no.
John D kind
No,
of
that's a totally
Okay.
fake.
Okay. Because I was
That's a
like,
totally fake
what?
YouTube account, because if that was the real John D, he would remember that he popped up on my live stream when I was doing a live stream talking about something a
Okay.
couple days after my Pac-Man review came out, and the real John D popped in my live stream, was insulting me towards my viewers, telling me that I'm a shill, my reviews were bullshit, that my Pac-Man, telling people the Pac-Man cabinet was a 6 out of 10, was an asshole move, and all that kinds of stuff. The real John D did that. So this fake John D obviously has either a short-term memory or doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So of course I'm going to make fun of John D if he's going to come in. If you're going to open yourself up to criticism by coming on a YouTuber's live stream and not respecting our review of your product, well then I'm going to make fun of you. You know what I mean?
It is what it is.
So, you know.
Skelegod wants to know, is the Act Games ALG controller any good? Heard lags when connected wirelessly. The Gamer
Yeah,
controller? No, I use the Gamer Mini and the Gamer Pro, and I haven't had any lag. Maybe in the beginning there was a little bit, but they fixed
is
it with
he
firmware.
is he talking about the gamepad?
Oh, you know what? Maybe he is talking about the gamepad because that I can't answer. You would have to answer that one because you have it.
Yeah, so if you remember, and then what's funny too is people say, yeah, they're shills, but my Legends gamepad broke on me while I was filming my review. In my review, I told people I would not recommend buying this product. You know what I mean? So that's pretty funny. But I haven't gotten that far, buddy. I was testing it wirelessly and it broke on me, and I told people, well, I'll
Wait,
get
wait,
a
wait,
new one
wait,
from
wait, wait,
Act
wait.
Games.
Didn't you get a new one yet?
Yeah, I got a new one, dude.
Oh,
But
oh,
then
oh.
I had the funeral and
Okay,
stuff,
yeah, yeah.
so
Okay, okay.
it's still in a box on my kitchen island. I haven't opened it yet. I will open it, and I will um and I'll test it and see how it goes. But yes, I have heard from a number of people in the community that plugged in it works great, but wirelessly not so great. So I'll see whenever I can get to it. So
All right. Now,
yeah.
Console Fanboy has a super chat here, and he says,
Mm-hmm.
"I like the smaller niche stuff on YouTube. It's way more interactive. Everyone knows everyone, or it's more intimate. Excuse me. I really love that about this community, and I agree. When you get like a bunch of people in here that you're paying attention to the chat room, when the chat room's flying and they think that you're not answering, you're not paying attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of why tonight, even in some of these impromptu ones, I've been doing just on YouTube. So that way it forces everybody into one chat and I can pay attention to one chat and one chat only.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We appreciate that, Console Fanboy. But this community keeps growing. I mean, what's good about that is, these companies are growing. Arcade One Up is growing. At Games is growing. iArcade is growing. New Wave Toys is growing. Numbskull's growing. Retro gaming is still a thing right now. Like, there's this big boom in retro gaming still. So, whatchamacallit. So, expect more
Yeah.
people to join our community, right? More YouTube channels, more websites, writing written reviews, as well as more fans looking for Facebook groups, Discord channels, Reddit pages where they can follow along with the content.
Fan is derived from fanatic. When you stop being a consumer of a product and flag bearer for a company without considering
Yep.
all possible perspectives, you open a door for negativity from other fans. Thanks,
Yeah,
Meatball Saucy. That's 100% accurate.
it's deep, man. It's deep. That's like right to the soul.
I'm like you though. I got my At Games Legends pinball controller, and it's sitting under the desk down here, still in the packaging because I have not done anything. Hey, Travis, take care, man. Appreciate you stopping in. Um,
Yeah.
I just haven't had the time, and part of me is like, do I want to take the time to open that up? But I have talked to some guys that said the solenoids in it or the exciters are better in that, like when you're feeling the rumbling.
Oh, the control deck you stick in your pinball
Yeah,
machine? Yes, apparently.
is that
Yeah,
true?
yeah, they are better. Well, yeah, they are better. Um,
Can I just take them out and put those?
well, I mean, wire is wire. You technically could do that. But yeah, they are better. They are better. A little bit more punch to them. However, they still they're still mounted to the plastic, which makes the plastic vibrate, right? And that's like one of the big, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
people don't want that. You know what I'm saying? I probably
Somebody said that
sounded
you
stupid.
put pennies under it. Somebody said you put pennies under it and tape them to it, and it. Ah, that's
Yeah,
meatball saucy.
there was a guy who I think he glued like like quarters or half dollars to the bottom of the exciters to add some weight to them so it wouldn't rattle the plastic as much. And I'm like, well, we really shouldn't have to do that kind of stuff as owners, right?
Yeah, right, right, right.
But I mean, you got to do what you got to do to get that rattling down, you know.
Somebody was mentioning about these stools, about the covers earlier. No, I didn't get any of the covers from. I guess there's a guy that does covers for bar stools. I didn't get that, but he's asking. Mike said, "Did you see the new Burger Time A1F stool? That is
No,
super
I haven't
cute."
seen it yet. I haven't seen it. I heard they came out. They came out with a bunch of stools, and a bunch of YouTubers shared their affiliate links that get some money off you clicking on them. But I'm stools. I have like 10, so like I don't need any more stools. I'm not interested in any more stools. So be now I wonder what it looks like though. He goes, that is super cute. Is there any way you can find it, Steven?
I'm
Let's
gonna
see
see
how
if I can
cute this
find it.
thing is. This better be like the sexiest burger and hot dog, Mike Hawk, that we've ever seen on this stool.
Um, so I'm seeing Burger Time. Somebody said it on Reddit. Is that on Reddit,
Yeah.
Mike? See if anybody
Oh,
posted a picture.
well, while you're looking for that, console fanboy, he goes, when is your Marvel battle with Michael B happening? So we were going to do it solo, but then if Kong's or us, if you're still here, there's that, who's that guy, Rev, that does the voiceover commentary for the fighting games? And what's the name of that channel? I think we might set it up through them. So I got to talk to those guys. I was talking with King, what's his name? King Aquanita, right before the weekend my mother passed away. So unfortunately, I haven't talked to him since I got back. But yeah, we're probably going to, God, what is that? What is it? Kongs or us? Webhead. There you go. Webhead and Rev V. Like we're gonna do it. They do all the Marvel vs. Capcom for the arcade 1-up community, like the fighting. Like Fighters Evo, there he goes.
There you go.
Fighters Evo. We're thinking about we were gonna host it ourselves, but we're thinking about putting it on Fighters Evo. So there you go. Sorry guys, that took a long time to say.
And Kongs or us, if you're here as well.
He's here.
I know he's always asking me about the gear that I use for streaming and everything like that, and I know some of the other guys are always interested in that. So what I've done is I've put together an Amazon page with everything that has like a shop. I get a little bit of a kickback. I'm not going to lie. Any of the stuff that's on here that I use in my studio is all on here that you guys can go look at if there's stuff that you're interested in.
Oh, Go. You see
And
that Canon? You see that Canon A? What is that? The Canon A66 camera. Go up a level.
oh, okay, hang on.
Go up a level
This
and then
one?
to the right. The one that's $1,600. That Canon.
Oh,
That's the.
the HA40.
Is that
This one. The
a yeah?
XA15, yeah.
Yeah, XA50. Yeah. So what should we call it? Is it bad that I want to buy that camera? I think that camera would be fantastic.
I have that camera.
I know, but
It's
now I want it.
it's a great camera. And then my Nikon, but I have that on there along with the little mini Android switcher that you can do 4 inputs on, the YOLO box, the cloud lifter, different things like that that have to do with video production. But everybody asks me about the arcade lights all the time, so I'm like, I'm putting the arcade lights on there, and
Oh,
that's what you're
the
seeing
LED
here.
lights.
That's what you're seeing down
So,
here, all down there.
so you know what's amazing, Stephen, is on your page here. I have a lot of this stuff. I have that same Canon camera, the smaller one. I
Get
have the
on.
same stream. I use the same stream deck whenever I stream with OBS.
Yep. Now this one's
I
a loop. This
have.
is a loop deck here. I also have that. That's like
Oh,
a stream deck. I have the stream deck here.
now if you go back to the camera shot where it's the two of us, if you remember during Legend Center, we wanted to have matching microphones. So that
Yes,
microphone you have in front of you, I have that same microphone.
but he doesn't use it.
But I never use it. And that was like, how much was that microphone? Like
Like
five,
300
six hundred
bucks.
bucks?
Yeah.
It was like $300, right? But I keep using the Yeti because the Yeti hasn't failed me yet. But I have the same microphone as Steven, a professional microphone,
And he doesn't
and
use it.
I haven't used it yet. But I think I'm going to use it. I'm going to make the switch. So yeah, I have a lot of this stuff. Oh, and that HDMI switcher that you had in there as well. I
Yep.
have that.
And
Guys, if you guys need an endorsement, Steven definitely picked out some really good stuff on that list. So if you're a content creator, highly recommend you check it out, grab a few of those, and improve your product.
and
Or
I'm still
improve, your
yeah,
presentation.
I'm still adding to it. Okay, I'm still adding stuff because as Amazon. But the cool thing is I'll get the live stream on Amazon. So that's something that Amazon has some specific recommendations and requirements for the live stream. So I have to figure that out this week of what they need, and then I'll be running the shows or maybe doing these impromptu streams to talk about the different items that are on there. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but that was the main reason why I wanted to get on the influencer thing with Amazon, was just to be able to stream on Amazon. But everybody's always asking
Yeah.
me, Kong's like, you need to have an affiliate thing, and I'm like,
So
eh.
now when you do a show, it'll live stream to Amazon as well.
Yes,
Is that what you said?
yes.
Dude, that's huge.
So that's why they have a apparently that
Mhm.
gives you the official. Let me show you here the little check mark next to my name there. They put like a little.
So if you go
So
live,
I can
have you done it yet though?
No, that's what I'm saying. They have specific requirements for live, as far as setting up the encoder and whatnot. But I can also produce videos like you do of reviews and upload them to that as well for all those products. So I might do that as well to get it unsaturated from everything else.
What should we name this wrestling podcast if we did do one? And also, I think we should get the community involved in the podcast as much as possible, Stephen.
We should call it All Elite.
All Elite?
All
the
Elite.
All Elite podcast?
The All Elite podcast. Doesn't it sound like a great name?
But it shows favoritism.
Listen,
we're going to be called your bias about AEW.
Wait a second. Listen,
and then all the rest. And not only will we have the retro gaming zealots giving us crap, we'll then have the wrestling zealots. You guys are sellouts. You like AEW. Oh man.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding here. Also,
Michael
who's setting up? Go ahead.
Michael B wants to be in our wrestling podcast with us. Michael B would be good as well. He's got a lot of good wrestling knowledge in the brain. Meatball Saucy would love to have him on. He knows his wrestling stuff as well.
Yeah. So Meatball Saucy says the Tech Buzz just gave me hints on my next stream. Cool. I mean, hey,
there you go.
There's some inspiration.
Look at that. The WW wrestling. There you go.
What can we do? So we could do
the bionic elbow.
The AT A1 up wrestling podcast.
The AT at 1UP.
The
Oh, what? Because you're
no
trying to incorporate the gaming stuff in there?
no
Forget the
I
gaming.
was being funny because you have at games and arcade one up, so I was putting that all together. Dr. Freeman,
Yeah.
chill. No, I
You know,
was kidding. We could call it
you know what I,
Legend
you know what
Center
I've
Wrestling.
wanted. I know what I've wanted to do. Like Dr. Freeman here, put shill in the chat because he knows what we're talking about. What I would love to do is I love to make a bunch of videos where I on like a totally different YouTube channel. Like I want to create a brand new YouTube channel, make a bunch of videos where I like do something and say something is like so over the top amazing, and then get all the shill comments on there, and then come back to my channel and tell people like, yep, no matter where you go, same feedback. It'd be kind of funny. The Mat. Adam Kolb says, call it the Mat. There you go. The wrestling podcast space is booming. Tons of content to review. There you go.
What about something to do with you know how like the wrestlers always give the taunts like lay down on the floor and look up at the lights because that's the last thing you're gonna remember.
Mm-hmm.
What if we did something like the last thing you're gonna remember wrestling podcast show? I know it's kind of really
That's
wordy, but
it's too big.
yeah,
It's
but
too big.
you know what I'm saying though.
Yeah. PNS and wrestling reviews. Gaming with wrestling. There you go, Mike Hawk.
Gaming with wrestling.
Oh, so Meatball Saucy wrote in here the
AWO.
AW. The Arcade World Order is coming. We taking over. There
Hey,
you
you
go.
know,
We call it the Arcade World Order. Well, we're already doing the dude. So what's funny is
New Day's doing
it's
it
so.
too. The New Day's doing the
It,
whole
well,
the
well, it's
NWO with
funny.
New Day.
So Nostalgia. I got a little pickle with Nostalgia, right? Because I told him like, dude, we're gonna do this whole DWO thing, Dude World Order for the Super Game Room dudes. I said people are gonna relate to it. Our viewers love wrestling, and it'll, we'll sell some T-shirts and we'll make channel memberships and stuff using the DWO. And then, sure enough, Nostalgia goes and creates this little T-shirt company, and he comes up with the AWO, the Arcade World Order. You know what I'm saying? I got a little pickle with Nostalgia. Hey buddy, you're kind of diving your toe here. It was supposed to be the DWO. Now it's the AWO. Although the AWO sounds just as cool as DWO. So,
Right.
and I know MCAT bought an AWO shirt.
I don't know.
So that's pretty funny.
I think doing the whole AWO, BWO, all the it's just all overplayed. I feel like you're just piggybacking off. I mean, for what you guys are doing is a spoof, but I mean, for an actual branded podcast, I don't think that's.
Oh well, it wasn't going to be like a.
No, not you
podcast.
guys, but I meant.
It's literally a spoof, like a 60-second spoof on the channel. You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is, you don't want to brand a podcast like that.
No, that's true. That's true. Oh wait, you just reminded me. I have to fly. I have to go hop on that other show. Steven starts in a few minutes.
Well, I don't. But are you sure you want to leave?
Why? You got something for me?
I'm just asking you a question because I wasn't sure if that's something.
Well, I have to go to the bathroom before I hop on the other show. But yes, we'll get back to this, guys. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I definitely. Now I got to tie it in a knot. Michael B. the Game Genie's here. Mike, we're thinking about setting up a wrestling podcast to take a break from all the video game stuff. Are you in or out?
Oh, I'm totally in. I'll talk wrestling all day.
There you go. And considering, we've been watching this, I know I've been watching wrestling since I was 5. So you're talking 35 years of continuous weekly wrestling knowledge all jammed up in here. I think we can end up having some great discussions with folks.
At least you got something up there.
Yeah, at least I got something up there. I probably know more about wrestling than I do video games. So you know what I mean?
So Michael B, what do you think about a name? Like I get the spoofs, the AWO, BW, that's cool. But I don't, like I said, I don't think we should brand a podcast like that. I think then you're just asking for for people to say crap.
Well, and possible lawsuit as well from WWE, cease and desist.
You won't get a possible lawsuit, but it depends on what you want to do with your podcast. Do you want to talk about what's currently going on in wrestling, how you would want to book things differently? It all depends on what you want to do with the podcast. If it's just talking about wrestling, you could call it whatever you want. Wrestle Ramble.
Yeah. Already, UAG has a wrestling gimmick already with it. Sunglasses, wearing sunglasses inside, not cool.
Is he trying to be like Orange Cassidy or something? Is that why he does that? Is he just gonna walk up to you one day when he sees you in life and just kind of like kick you in the shins and do that, hands in the pocket?
Well, I do have to go to the bathroom and stuff, and I'm going to hop on that other show because I did have a previous commitment with those fellows.
Yeah.
But let's get back together and talk about this, and maybe, who knows, in the coming months we can launch something. And that would be really cool. So, all right, guys, I'm going to take off. I will see you on the web.
Oh, you scared me there.
You have to poo a lot. I'm really worried about you, B-dubs. Did we lose him in the middle of that?
Yeah, you lost him in the middle. We can leave it like that, though. But look, we'll just put it like that.
That's definitely the face of a guy who's got to poop.
Hey, guys, I'll pull the lower third off. Take your screen caps and make your memes. That's a frozen P-dubs picture, so I'm sure he would love it if you do hashtag P-dubs poop on Facebook. So get your screenies out and screenshot that. I'm sure he's going to love it when he sees that I'm doing this. He might even be watching. We have to be careful with the Matt podcast because there is a big podcast called Matt Men.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful. My buddy Andrew Zarian actually hosts that one. So we have to I don't want to go that I don't really want to do that. So
the internet, podcasting, videos, all that stuff, it's so hard because there's so many people already doing so many things. Like, it's impossible not to step on somebody's toes at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but in the same respect, you're still going to have the same thing, right? We're still going to be given our commentary on it.
Yeah.
So it boils down to what the audience, if they like your personality already, they're going to watch it. Doesn't mean we have any more insight than anybody else, but I know a bunch of people that would be interested in being on as a guest. Like the one guy that was in my studio, he is a huge wrestling fan. In fact, he was the reason that Stevie Richards came up. He actually got him with the bookie and hired him to come up here to sign autographs and stuff. So
really,
oh yeah, I have him. Stevie signed 2 of my action figures that I have for my son that I'm keeping for him, and then he signed a bunch for the kids at the kids' church, which I still have a few of the him and Hollywood Nova. I'll grab it real quick. He signed a bunch of these for the kids, him and Hollywood Nova. I'll see if I can go full screen. This was like the flyer that they have. Here's his autograph right in here, and then Hollywood's is up here. And that's where we got like our BWO shirts and everything there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I think it would be fun, especially with everything going off. What do you think? Because we were talking about this earlier. What do you think about CM Punk coming back? P-Dub seemed to disagree with me on it, that I think AEW is going to position him the way WWE did with The Rock, when The Rock went from Rocky Maivia to The Rock in the Nation, and when he made that split and became The Rock. I think that's where CM Punk's at right now in his career in AEW.
The problem with your statement is you're covering a lot of ground with that, because it's not like they just transitioned to The Rock. I mean, there was quite a different character build. Like, he went from being Rocky Maivia to The Rock as an underling in the Nation of Domination, to slowly building up this feud with Farouk on whether or not he was going to be the new leader, if he respected Farouk, to taking over the Nation, to then becoming something bigger than the Nation, then to a quasi face turn again, where he beat The Undertaker, and he was actually heading into Survivor Series as a face. Then when he did the whole reverse Shawn Michaels Bret Hart thing, where he won the title and then rejoined the whole corporation, like, there's so much to unpack there before we got to The Rock. Anyways, I've gone too long on that. I think what they're doing with CM Punk right now is they're just seeing what happens. Punk seems to have a really good attitude. He says he's back to help. I don't think he's just there to collect the check and be the guy. I think he actually does want to work with the young guys.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be bringing in Brian Danielson as well. Daniel Bryan.
Do you think he's going to be Daniel Bryan or Brian Danielson?
Brian Danielson. He'll 100% go back to his original name.
You think he'll go back? He won't stick with Daniel Bryan?
I don't think he can. I think Daniel Bryan's trademarked.
Ah, okay. And so even the whole Yes movement probably won't even happen again. Even the fans will do it, but he won't promote that.
No, I think he's okay to promote the Yes movement. I just don't know if they're allowed to make shirts that say yes. It's like when Hogan went to WCW, you never got a Hulkamania shirt. They all said Hogan.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I don't know. It's Adam Kalb came up with a really good name if we were going to do it. Belt Buckle Podcast.
Belt Buckle Podcast.
Maybe it'd have to be like Turnbuckle Podcast, maybe.
Yeah.
Like the Turnbuckle Podcast. That could potentially work. Belt buckle, that could mean many things. We could be talking about belt buckles. But it's a start. It's definitely a start. But
yeah, the 6 people that are tuned in and be like, "Hey, what new belt buckles did you buy this week?"
I think that I do think though that CM Punk they're going to try to make him the GOAT. I seriously think that they're going to push. I mean, look at the pop they gave him, and he didn't even try to do anything. Yeah. He just came back. And every time they've been selling out arenas knowing that they're going to have him on TV every week because it's good TV. I mean, I'm pretty much tuning into AEW every single show because I want to see Punk.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're the same way. You're tuning in because you want to see, not that the other talent is bad,
yeah,
but it legitimizes AEW.
So I'm that terrible fan that's been so unhappy with wrestling for so long that I've been looking for a good alternative. So I've been watching AEW pretty regularly for a while because it does provide that alternative. Is it perfect? No. Like some of these WWE like hardcores, they're 100% right. There's stuff in AEW that would drive you nuts. Like I think it was a couple of weeks ago, Sammy Guevara versus Perfect 10, and I can't remember his name off, Sean Spears. And they started it off with Sean Spears giving him a spike pile driver, thanks to Tully Blanchard, on the concrete outside. Mm-hmm. Then they still ended up having like a 30-minute match after that. Like, to me, old school wrestling, I'm like, he should be dead. Like, they should have had a funeral, had the ambulance bring him out, the morgue, call him dead. He took a spike pile driver on the floor. Then he wrestled the full match and still won. Like, some of the things they do don't make any sense, but I like it as an alternative. It's fun. It's not as frustrating as what WWE is.
But I think they're doing it right even with Sting, right? They got Sting in there as a kind of like a Paul Heyman figure, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think that's all Sting needs to do. We don't need to see Sting back in the ring and getting his butt handed to him by these younger guys. You don't need to see that. I like the mystique, like, the icon Sting is outside the ring, and when he does throw a punch, he's going to knock the guy out. Like, I think that they've created that ambience with him. If they put him in the ring, he's going to lose that, just like they've been kind of doing with MVP. Although they put MVP in the ring last night and made him look like a weak sissy, but I think that was a bad booking move, in my personal opinion. I would have rather see anything but that, but that whole presence that Sting brings Darby Allin, he's just accelerated his career.
Yeah.
And I liked Darby Allin from the beginning. I thought he was really good. I like Orange Cassidy too.
Yeah.
Those guys, Britt Baker, 100%. I would love to see her versus Charlotte Flair. 100%.
Well, after Charlotte's shoot fight with Nia Jax last night on Monday Night Raw, we might see it sooner than later. That was awkward as hell.
We were talking about that. Like, okay, I get that Nikki Cross was that in-between champion, right? Because they're trying to get the numbers up for Charlotte. At least that's what I'm assuming. But then to let her fall to Nia Jax, who you've been burying the last few months, like, what was that about?
I'm not 100% sure, because if you go back and look at it, it looks like literally in the middle of the match, Charlotte really took a swing at Nia Jax, and Nia Jax said, "No, you don't want to do that," and then beat her up for real. Like, there's a question to be made whether or not that went off script.
Really? So I missed that. I'm going to have to go back and take a look at that.
Yeah, there's a good scene where Charlotte smacks her in the face. Nia Jax openly says, "Don't do that." and then she turns and levels her with a couple hits, and then Nia goes to pick her up for a Samoan drop, and Charlotte completely sandbags and tries to refuse the Samoan drop.
Oh, is that where that
Completely,
awkward part in the match where it didn't look like Charlotte was moving her arm, and I'm like, well, what are you trying to do?
yeah.
Oh, see, I did catch that, and I said to my wife, I'm like, oops, somebody botched this match. I'm like, what is that? Like, she picked her up and she's contorting her arm, and even the guys calling it didn't know what to call it. Like, oh, I think she just hit her with an elbow. I think. I'm like,
No.
What's that about?
No.
Yeah.
No, it was one of those moments you sit down and you watch and you're like, oh, this is Austin Aries getting up right after he takes the pin and Impact and then never working again. And if it wasn't Charlotte Flair and it wasn't Nia Jax, I think we would have seen these two taken off TV shortly after. My wife asked me, she said, Nia Jax went off script. What happens? And I said, well, it helps when you're The Rock's cousin because you find that you don't get much punishment.
Right.
And then somehow Vince McMahon will reward her for this, for being so tough. WWE's a weird place, man. Doesn't
She
matter.
should have got fired before
because
she hurt people, like legitimately hurt people. Like,
yeah.
I would like to see Kevin Owens leave. As dumb as that sounds, I would love to see him in AEW because I think they would put the belt on him, and I think that he would be a major player in the roster. He's getting buried on WWE right now.
Yeah, he totally is. The problem with WWE is they don't know how to work with all the talent they have. All the talent they have is kind of like a poison pill for them because they really only need about 5 or 6 guys they want to work with. And then they really need guys that are just squash guys that can go out there and just take the heat every single week, just get beat by the 5 guys to keep them up. They don't know how to work this system. AEW has a better time of it, keeping guys on the up and up and not letting them lose their luster, even though they're going to lose from week to week. I can't explain it any better than that, and it might just be the relative newness of AEW, but it seems like they do a better job of managing having so much good talent.
Yeah, I'm very, because Chris Jericho's teasing retirement. No, actually, I should say
Cody
is teasing retirement. He's already said in a couple of years he's going to retire. He wants to be done. So, you don't think he's going to go? You think they'll keep him?
For now, absolutely. He's too valuable for him not to do it. It's like when Mario Lemieux was the owner of the Pittsburgh Penguins and they weren't doing so well. He was like, you know what? I'll just start playing hockey again. So, I mean, it'd be foolish for Cody not to wrestle, but he is busy because from what I understand, Cody is essentially doing most of the gorilla duties from like back in the day.
Yeah, he's the Triple H right now. So, I mean, it's best that he takes a back seat in a sense for that. But I don't know. I think there's a few things that AEW they need to expand their arena a little bit in the sense they have the crowd right up on top of the ring, essentially. It's like you rarely see out of the ring action unless it's off the side of that ramp. So I don't know. There's just different things. But where WWE will shine is if it locks down again in the sense where they're not allowed to have people in there. WWE has the Thunderdome, and AEW put a bunch of their wrestlers behind the glass. I mean, it was all right. It was better than nothing, but it's awful to watch wrestling without a crowd.
Oh, it totally was awful to watch wrestling without a crowd. And who I feel really bad for were the night that AEW did the Broken Matt Hardy and Brody Lee debuts the same night with no audience there. That was such a shame because those should have been huge moments, and it wasn't, and it should have been.
I'm waiting for Jeff to end up there. They buried him good too.
They got him his old music back. They're doing something with him.
Yeah, because what else are they going to do? I mean, he's pretty much went through everything. Now he's finally the enigma. Yep. Like I just don't get it. Like they had successful runs. Like even Matt. Okay, one thing I will say AEW is doing incorrectly is the Matt Hardy Corporation thing that they're doing. Like, what is that? Like, let him go back to being delete Matt Hardy, and they did tease it against Orange Cassidy, but that's just stupid.
So what happened was Matt Hardy kind of they did a thing in AEW where Matt Hardy was I forget what you call it, the multiverse of Matt Hardy,
Right.
and all his characters and personalities all merged into one. And the personality that was the strongest was Big Money Matt Hardy, which is what we're seeing now with the Hardy Family Office. And apparently, this is Tony Khan's favorite version of Matt Hardy. Tony Khan is not a favorite. Tony Khan, the owner, is not a fan of Broken Matt Hardy for whatever reason.
Interesting.
Yeah,
because it's that weird that where he starts going off into paradiddles and stuff like Ultimate Warrior used to do.
Yeah.
And that could be why. Warrior kind of ruined that a lot for a lot of people because they thought he was whacked in the head. But
I'm just sad because I really like Broken Matt Hardy. That was some of my favorite stuff, and it was squandered.
My question though is, you seem pretty confident that Brian Danielson will be the next one to come into AEW.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt.
I think Bray Wyatt will end up there. I don't know if you've been watching this, but there is some code going on, supposedly. If you go back and you watch CM Punk's first 2 appearances, when he comes out, he actually has initials on his shoes.
Yeah.
So far, he's come out with initials on his shoes. One was BW for Bray Wyatt, and then the next time he came out, he had AC on his shoe for Adam Cole.
See, that's what people thought. But he came out and said, I saw a report on this just a little bit ago that said AC was always Chicago and BW was something to do with the same thing, like something, either that or he's throwing people off. But that's honestly what he came out. He said he took a page out of LeBron James's book and he said that it's always Chicago. There were little messages that he put on that's really what it was. And I agree, Mike, about Bray will lead the Dark Order. If he came over with Braun Strowman and they paired them two together to do the Dark Order to pick up where Brody Lee left off, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That would be huge.
I'd like for them to go back to the original concept of the Dark Order, because when Brody Lee came in, he moved it away from the dark side of it. He came in with the pseudo Mr. McMahon gimmick.
Yes.
So I would like to see Bray move it back towards that supernatural side.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to say the least what happens.
But going back to the CM Punk thing, don't trust that man. What does the CM and CM Punk stand for?
That was Chicago made, wasn't it? Chicago made Punk. That's what he originally said it was.
Nope. That's bullshit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the CM, he keeps people guessing. I know what it actually means. When he started out in a tag team on the Indies, he was in a tag team. I can't remember who his partner was, but they were the Chick Magnets. So there was Chick Magnet, the other guy, and CM Punk's name was Chick Magnet Punk. So the CM actually stands for Chick Magnet. But if anybody ever asks him, he'll deny it, and he keeps saying it's a different thing.
Yeah. I did remember hearing something like that, but he always, I've heard different interviews where people say, well, what does CM stand for? And he goes, what do you think it stands for? And
exactly.
And then he says, it's Chicago made Punk. That's what, and so I always just assume that, but I've heard the thing about Chick Magnet Punk. Cause that was big. Punk. That was big back in the day, I don't want to keep you guys, if you wanted to watch the Basement Arcade with P-Dubs. I didn't even realize we went over 908. I was on here. I had some major audio issues, not my issues, but in the hardware system that I use. So I fixed them this week. Got another piece of hardware to put in to fix it. So mainly I was coming on here to test, and I was getting like this real low crackle in the audio and different things like that. So I got that ironed out, but I know Dubs is going on that one show, so but we'll have to do something
good
like
people, so
and so I don't want to take viewers away from him or anything like that. And I know everybody's free to watch whatever, but yeah, Mike, I appreciate you jumping on here, but we definitely got to figure out something if we want to do a wrestling podcast or something, or see if that's something. It seems like that's what the people want. Just add it to my list. So, but yeah, guys, appreciate those that came out. And if you guys are going over there or whatever you're going to do, I appreciate it. I've been on long enough anyways. I've been on for like 2 hours. I think it's been that long.
You got another 3-4 hours in you. Come on.
Man. Hey, listen, I got to do my broadcast show on Thursday night, which goes from 6 to 7. take a little break, and then I'm jumping on, I guess, with you guys to do the, and so it's going to be like a long, long, long night. I know how you feel now when you do our show and then go on and do your show.
That's fine. I can do another 2 shows in between. I love doing this. Like, I actually look forward to coming on camera and talking to everybody.
Oh, no, I enjoy doing it too. I just, sometimes I feel like I don't want people to get mad at me because they're doing a show at the same time I'm doing it, and then it's like,
I get it. Yeah.
That's the hard part. Like I would still stay on here for a little while yet, but I just, like, MCap came over here, he was watching the show, and then it was kind of like he went and did his show, and he was really cool. He didn't like, not that I cared. Because people are going to watch, if they want to watch it, they're going to watch it, or they're going to stay here, and that's fine. So, I don't want it to be like, well, I supported you, and then you kept going when I was doing my show, and it's like, that's not my intention. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be like that. So, but yeah, man, we'll have to figure something out. And if you're around, I don't know when you're around, but like if I come on and do something like this again, an impromptu, I'll send you a message with the link and have you jump on.
Yeah, I'm always free. Well, mostly.
Well, yeah, because I don't know everybody's schedule. I tried, like, at night it works good for me, and obviously I do broadcasting for a living, so it's something that, you know, I enjoy doing it, as well as testing equipment. So cool, man. Well, I'll talk with you later, and guys on the stream, we'll chat with you all later. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm gonna go dark here, and we'll see you. What's tomorrow? Wednesday's AEW. My son's got a game, so I won't be on tomorrow. But then I'll be on for broadcast now on Thursday. So we'll do a show then, and I will see you guys later.